Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very, very well. You can see from the title, it is not the most positive live stream I've ever done. In fact, this is quite a negative stream. I would consider myself to be one of the more patient fans. You know, I think that every club in its own sense deserves a chance to show what it's capable of doing. Is there any reason to really believe in what I'm seeing based on the signings that we're making, based on the decisions that are being made up above in terms of transfers, incomings, outgoings? How are you treating the fan base? Why are you doing the things that you're doing? And I'm not impressed at all. I'm not impressed. To be honest with you, it's like I've said it already. January was just an absolute disgrace. And we didn't really have a chance to talk about it on the podcast yesterday. I would have loved to talk about it for longer. I don't know if people are necessarily on the same wavelength as I am. But it's just Enzo Maresca's been left out to dry. And there's news coming out that he's happy with the business that we've done and the fact that we were able to trim the squad. And yeah, maybe you could say your Disassis, he wasn't really playing Chukwuemeka. But who's coming in? Nobody. Fucking 19-year-old from St. Etienne. João Felix is gone. Anyway, I'm going to get into all of it, irrespective. And we've got some news to go through with respect to the owners as well. It's not good news today, guys. I'm afraid it's quite a negative one. Big up to everyone that's watching in the chat. If you haven't already, smash the like button. And yeah, I hope you're doing well, guys. I'm not based on what I've read and what I'm going to read. Christian says multiple reasons. A top striker is not available in January. Everybody knows this. If he is, then he's not a top striker. Big up to you, Christian. Ariaman says, believe in Nico, Noni, and Sancho. I just hope we don't bottle top four. Big up to you. Monkey Gaming, hope you're doing well, mate. Samir says, Noni is the attitude princess. Watering can, where are the goals in your vlog versus West Ham? I got the Palmer goal, so I don't know what you're talking about there. I got the main goal. DJ Sav, good afternoon, Alex. Are you really surprised about this ownership and especially the sporting directors? I am not. Mate, I did what, to be honest, I think most people would do and most people have done. I took a different approach. You know, you had to really see where we were going. You couldn't just make a prediction. I know you've got people out there who had it out from the start, Johnny, etc. Younes as well. I know that he's not a fan of the ownership. You had to give these guys a chance from the perspective of a footballing sense, because we knew it was about money. It was never about creating a dynasty. I mean, even Bowley, who has successful sporting teams in America, the Dodgers is a great example. They just won the World Series. You know, Bowley can win, but he also makes money. And I don't think that that's the biggest problem for me. So that, I mean, there's different sides to this. I know that Bowley, we've had some negative press coming out about him in Vivid Seats, and we're going to talk about that as well, because it's worth talking about, isn't it? I'm surprised that it's not getting more coverage, but yeah, it's a really disappointing situation. As a fan, somebody that's a part of the club, you want to see ambition, and you want to know that, the people up above are doing their best to make sure your club is in a good position for the future, in the present. Are we in a good position? Where are we? Are we in a better position than we were a year ago? Are we in a better position than we were 2 years ago? 3 years ago. And these are all open-ended questions. I think that there's aspects you could say, well, maybe we are a little bit better in the sense that, you know, we finished 6th last season. We're probably going to finish higher than that this season, fingers crossed. We finished 12th the year before, so you could say, well, we're progressing. Where were we before that, though? Were we not challenging for titles every year? Were we not winning trophies? Did we not have our first season under Clearlake? Was the first season we didn't win a trophy? Is that a coincidence? Well, trust the process. Hey, it's all going to happen. Just give it time. Big up to you, DJ Sav. Jordan, he says, it was the worst window we ever had. How can you say Maresca is happy with it? I'm not saying he's happy. I'm quoting journalists. In fact, I'm happy to try and find the quote. I'm sure it's from The Athletic. Maresca is happy with transfer business. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. West London Sport. Here we go. There's other people that have said this as well, but there's the first article. I'll share it with you now. I'm not just saying it. He's come out and bloody said it. Whether he believes it is a different story. Enzo Maresca has insisted he is happy with Chelsea's business during the transfer window. There are a number of pre-deadline outgoings with Ben Chilwell, Disasi, Chukwuemeka, Vega all leaving on loan, while Cassidy was sold to Torino. As the deadline passed, it was also expected that, the João Felix has gone as well. So what they're saying is the departures significantly reduced the size of head coach Maresca's squad, although they had been expected. Everything that happened was planned from me, from the club, all together, said Maresca. Probably we can find some different solutions. The ones that are here are the ones that are going to be with us until the end. The ones that left, we all agreed they could go. Maresca was speaking after Chelsea moved up to 4th in the Premier League table, coming from behind to beat West Ham 2-1. And then he said we deserve to win that game. So I'm not just chatting nonsense. I'm saying what Maresca has already said. He has said he's happy with this. Anyway, let's finish the... It was the worst transfer window we ever had. How can you say Maresca is happy with the business we made? We made only one player. That's not good enough. We spent billions in this window. Nothing but shambles. Absolutely, mate. It is a shambles. It's a disgrace. The owners have ruined this great club. You are always backing the manager. Big up to you. Yeah, well, look, for me, if I'm totally honest with you, I don't think that the situation would be that different with Poch or with Maresca. I think we'd still be in and around this area. We would have won certain games. We would have lost certain games. But that's to take nothing away from Maresca. Even though I like Poch, I also like Maresca. Yeah, I don't have an agenda for any manager. I want them all to do well. I want them to do well. They can only do well when they're given support. Now, if it's true that Maresca is happy, then that's fair enough. Yeah, that's actually fair. I've got nothing against it. But surely he would have wanted someone to come in and just give him some reinforcements, because we are an injury away from a crisis. We are a Palmer injury away from a crisis. We are a Caicedo injury away from a crisis. We're a Cucurella injury away from a crisis. I mean, it doesn't sound great, does it? That if you're the only left back you have available gets injured, you don't have another left back. In the 10 position, you did have reinforcements like João Felix and Chukwuemeka. Well, they're gone. And Kunku, what, you want a guy who doesn't even want to play for the club to be the guy who brings us drags us across the goal line if Cole Palmer gets injured. That's just fantastic, isn't it? And who's going to replace Caicedo? What, that 18-year-old from St. Etienne, who we're going to look at as well? Come on, guys. But big up to you, Monkey Gaming. Hope you're doing well. Eze says we will miss Felix. I think the Premier League in general had the worst transfer window. Say that to Man City, my friend. Say that to Man City. Daniel, I hope you're doing very well, mate. Good to see you on the stream. The sporting directors need to go. It's been nothing short of a shambles. The question is, though, and we already kind of know the answer. You never really know, but you pretty much know. Why are they doing the type of business that they're doing? Have they been told to do this? Is this just from a financial standpoint? Of course it's from a financial standpoint. It's all about the pound note. And I always knew that. But I didn't realize how bad it was. Because every owner, pretty much 99%, it's about this now. Especially coming into English football. You tell me a top club that doesn't care about money. Let's have a look, actually, because I'm interested. Premier League. Okay, let's go through it because it's honestly, mate, it's where the fuck is it? Liverpool, financially driven. Arsenal, financially driven. Nottingham Forest and Man City and Newcastle, I'll give you that. It's not financially driven. Bournemouth, it's not financially driven either. Villa, fucking hell, it's worse than I thought. I've just said half of the owners actually don't care about money. It's just us. It's so bad, isn't it? It's so bad. If you look at the owners of each club, now, I don't know too much about Southampton or Ipswich. Leicester, they're not financially driven. Wolves are. Everton are. West Ham, not so much. Tottenham are. United are. Palace probably are. Brentford, maybe. Brighton, very well-run club. Fulham are financially driven. Fuck. I mean, we're in the mud here, guys. We're in the mud. You look at the clubs around this area. Who cares more about money than Clearlake? Based on what we've seen so far and how quickly we've seen it. Now, Liverpool, there's a real argument for them to be on the list, but they're well run. So it's different, isn't it? But they are a very well run club. We're not, based on what we're seeing so far. Arsenal have started spending money ever since Kroenke's son got involved. City and Newcastle are owned by states and countries. Oh, mate, I don't want to look at it. It makes me sick. It makes me sick. Right. I do feel for Maresca, but I also think he did not help himself either. The treatment of some of the players that left, for example, Felix, not good. But you have to remember, mate, Maresca is just a coach. He is not the manager. He is a coach. And that was on his, when he applied for the job or did his interview process, it was very evident that he was only going to be a coach. They want his input, but they don't give him control. If Maresca says, I want this player to leave and the club wants the player to go, fantastic. If he doesn't want the player to leave and the club want him to leave, they'll probably still get rid of that player. He doesn't really have a say. It's one of those things where, I don't know, you've got a mate and you ask him for advice and he tells you something, you can go with it or you can go your own way. The club doesn't really take what he's saying seriously. I don't know, man. They don't take the managers seriously. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done what they did with Poch last year. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. He is a yes man. I'm aware of that. I'm aware. But he's a good manager. He's a good coach. Let me get that wording right. If Chelsea had the knowledge, we would go for a striker, put the money on the table and try and get Delap for 60 mil. That would have been good business for Chelsea, and the Garnacho news is a disgrace. My thoughts on Garnacho and the links with Garnacho, I'll just touch on that first. I don't think Garnacho is a terrible signing, but I do think it's a terrible signing if you pay 60 million. So I agree with you on that. If you paid about 35, you know, it's probably a fair deal on both sides. He's not a bad player, but he's not going to bring you to that next level. Again, it is all potential. So I appreciate your point. Delap as well, 60 million would have been a great deal for Ipswich. I think Chelsea are holding out for a lower fee in the summer. They're probably banking on Ipswich getting relegated. Big up to you, Steve. I hope you're doing well, mate. I was there at the protest. I was there. I wasn't holding up the banner, but I was there. I was actually filming at the time. The Sun were doing a documentary about whether Chelsea should move stadiums. So I was talking about why I think it would be beneficial for the club to move. I think it's in the club's best interests. But then, you know, I spoke with some other people. You probably know who I'm talking about. And they make a great argument as to why we should never move. And I have to agree with both sides, really. If you look at it from the club's perspective and you don't bring the owners into the conversation, then you would say move. You would. You're capped at 60,000 in Stamford Bridge. You can't progress on from that. It's not a great model because after a while, you're going to have to end up moving again. And the land that we're going to end up buying in Earls Court is going to be, it's not going to be for sale at that time. I don't think it will be. So that's one thing. So if we were to move, we could get a stadium capacity of 80,000. But then the question comes, why is it bad for Chelsea to relocate when you know that we can have all these we can bring in extra revenue for the club with the extra seats and more fans can come to matches? Why is that a bad thing? And the reason is that who's to say that the ticket scenario with fans not being able to get tickets will change just because we have extra seats in the stadium? It will just be disproportionate anyway. So who's to say that, you know, even though we have a smaller stadium, they're going to push ticket prices to compete with other teams? Why wouldn't they just do that in a bigger stadium anyway? That's what Arsenal do. So every owner will follow suit. Any excuse to push the prices up. That is the unfortunate truth. It's not Chelsea's level to finish 12th and 6th. Well, if I'm honest with you, over the past 2 years, it was Chelsea's level, mate. But 3 years in a row outside of the Champions League is certainly not Chelsea's level. If we're not in the Champions League this year, that is a disgrace. We've got 62 people in the building. Smash the like button. Can we get up to 50 likes, please, guys? 50 likes. Let me know in the comments because I can't even see how many likes are on. Show your support. It does encourage us to keep going as well. Yeah, we've got to finish top 4. No question about it, which is why this window is so disappointing. Because we haven't given Maresca the tools to do it. He has to work with a squad that is weaker than what it was at the beginning of the window. Can you say the same for Aston Villa? Can you say the same for Man City? If it's not weaker, is it at least the same like Nottingham Forest or Newcastle? See what I mean, guys? Transfer winner's been poor. We have not improved the first team. When I say Maresca, oh yeah, no, I appreciate that. Fair enough. DJ Sav, I was at the match on Monday when I saw knocks to James, Jackson and Guiu. It was worrying, even though they are not out, but the warning signs are there. I also worried Caicedo was not far from an injury. We are one injury away from a crisis. We are one injury away. We wanted top 4 this year and we are 4th. Why are we crying again? We're going to have a lot of money in the summer. But does a lot of money mean anything if you don't finish in the Champions League, CAA Mafia? If you don't finish in the Champions League, your players don't get that 30% pay rise that's included in their contract. So you have internal disrest straight away from the players already there who trusted the project, because the project's not going the way they saw it going. You then won't attract bigger players. I mean, it's just ridiculous, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, if we were to finish in the Champions League as well, you know, we would be in a position where we probably could afford a player like Osimhen. You know, his wages are wages that we could pay with Champions League money. Without Champions League money, we wouldn't be able to pay those wages. And that is the problem. If we don't finish in the Champions League, we are going to be in a situation almost like, I don't want to say like Arsenal or Tottenham, but you remember when they weren't finishing in Europe for a long time. It's so difficult to claw your way back in there. Once you're out, it's very hard to get back in. And that's why you got Villa pushing so hard and Forest on fire. City spending 200 mil. It's serious stuff. Palmer, for me, has had 2 bad fouls on him. First against Leicester, then Wolves. How fully fit is he? Is he carrying an injury and still has to play? All these questions will start coming out on Palmer. I don't think he's injured. I don't think he's injured. So I don't think that's the biggest worry. No team in the Premier League bought established players this window, but apparently it's only Chelsea. Okay, let me reiterate. We didn't buy a single player except for a 19-year-old from St. Etienne. And what are you talking about? No team bought established players in the window. What are you talking about? I just told you about Man City and Aston Villa. I mean, come on. That's not a serious question. That's not a serious statement. We did have Chilwell to play left back. I just didn't understand why Maresca didn't give him a chance to play at all and give fresh legs for Cucurella, but I hope he does well in Palace. Unfortunately, I think Chilwell is a similar scenario to Disasi. He's not suited to the system. He can't invert. Maresca doesn't like up and down fullbacks, which is why Gusto won't thrive in this system either. So if you look at some of the players have improved under Maresca, but there was a number of players quite suited to the way Poch was playing. Disasi and Chilwell were 2 of them. Gusto was another player. Yeah. That's what makes it even worse from a recruitment standpoint is they brought Maresca in, but there are a number of players not suited to the way he wants to play. I don't think we'll get top 4 this season because transfers have been poor. I don't blame you. Everyone is financially driven. You are correct, my friend. This team is top 4 capable. If it's not, it's on Maresca. It's not on Maresca, mate. It's on the ownership. It's on the recruitment. He can only work with what he's given. Yeah? He can only work with what he's given. If he's working with bums, then unfortunately, it's going to make him look like a bum. And I'm not saying that everyone in the team is a bum. I'm not, because it was more like that last season. But he doesn't have any depth. He just doesn't have enough depth. So if we have an injury, there's nobody to come in and fill that void that can perform. On the wing, as well as Pedro Neto, there's nobody that can replace Caicedo. There's nobody that can replace Cucurella. What happens if Jorgensen gets injured? We got Robert Sanchez again. Only joking. Surely you can't do that. How does Clearlake only care about money if they reinvest sales into more players? Sorry, what are you talking about? What reinvestment are we seeing here? Where's the reinvestment? Reinvesting into who? £12 million for a player from St. Etienne. Every deal that was done was financial. Every deal that was done. Every single deal. João Felix, financially driven. Stupid, but it's financially driven. Disasi, financially driven. You turned down a £6 million loan offer to try and bin him off to Tottenham to accept a £5 million loan offer. Well done, guys. Fantastic negotiations there. The one thing you care about, you're not even good at. Who else? Cassidy. It's all about profit. Fuck all profit. It's penny pinching, but it's still profit. Because we're going to make the 25% on the resale clause when Torino eventually sell him, if they sell him. Chukwuemeka, 40% option to buy. Dortmund won't pay it, but somebody else will. It's fucking ridiculous. Vega, 6 million, was it 5-6 million loan offer? That's almost 50% of what we paid for him anyway. But it doesn't make it easier for Maresca on the pitch. All financially driven. You guys want the best player of the world with a 40k stadium and cry because ticket prices go up? We cry because I don't know if you're late to the party here. Because the ticket prices go... Let me pull up the article, man. Todd Burley Khan's website with resales Premier League tickets for tens of thousands of pounds. Chelsea co-owner is director of Vivid Seats, which has tickets for Liverpool's final game of the season priced at £17,000. Oh, for fuck's sake, I can't even read it. But you get the point, okay? The point is that there is no other owner who is in that position. He is literally, they are taking parts of the club and putting it back into their own pocket. It affects United fans, it affects City fans, it affects everyone. But it especially affects Chelsea because our owner is the one who's directly involved in it. It's his company. He's the director. It's upsetting, really. It's really sad. And this is especially frustrating because of the club's statements about what comes out, what fans will they'll get banned if they resell tickets for higher prices than face value. Well, they're doing exactly the same thing. Make it make sense. Daniel says we're on 17 likes. Can we get up to 60 likes? We've got 77 people in the building now. Smash the like button, guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already. It shows myself and everyone that's a part of the channel that you're enjoying the content, and it makes us want to continue. We will also have another live show this evening at 8 o'clock. And who is going to be on that show? I'll let you know. It's going to be Charlie. Charlie's running a show this evening at 8 o'clock. So tune in at 8 o'clock as well. Maresca's wife, Felix, left bro under utilized him. I agree with you. That's very true. But the club still could have kept hold of Felix. He's an asset for us. He could have made our life easier. Now we won't even know. If Palmer gets injured, we're going to have to do something totally different. 6th to 8th for me, probably bag the Conference League, and that is it. We could have got the lap in the transfer window if Chelsea put 60 million on the table. Ipswich should buy their hands off, and injury crisis of Jackson and Kunku get injured was stewed. Only got Guillaume. Right. Let me go dive into some other news, guys. So, oh, goodness. Here we go. Enzo Maresca says, we love our fans. We just ask for a little more patience from them when we keep the ball, and there are teams that sit back and we struggle to find space. They have to trust us. Trust the process. Trust the process and all of that. Fantastic. Love the process. Fucking love it. What else have we got? Yeah, Felix. Since December the 4th, 2024, Cole Palmer has created the most chances of any player in Europe's Big Five leagues, 32 chances. Despite that, none of those chances have been converted by his teammates, and he has had 0 assists in that time. And that tells you that Palmer is doing everything he can, but he needs a little bit of help. And I've been a fierce defender of Nicholas Jackson, who I am still a fan of. But I have to admit, Jackson has been poor over the past few weeks, and he needs some support. It was a good decision to take him off against West Ham on Monday. I thought Mark Guiu came on and made a good impact. And I'd like to see Mark Guiu start against Brighton. I'd like to see that happen. Will that happen? Who knows? I know there was a little sort of niggle to do with his hamstring, but I think Jackson just needs a little bit of time off of the pitch, to be totally honest with you. But he never has that because he's constantly playing. Matisse Amargu has joined Chelsea from St Etienne on an 8-year contract. So he's 19 years old, and he's on an 8-year deal. And he says, I'm very happy. It's an honor for me to sign for such a big club like Chelsea. They believe in young players, and the process they have in place to develop us is fantastic. Yeah, absolutely brilliant, mate. I'm sure he's going to be the next big thing, guys. He is going to be the next big thing. Moises Caicedo, who? It's all about a Mugu. Brilliant. And he's going to end up going to Strasbourg. And what we're going to see is Santos coming back. He goes to Strasbourg. Fantastic. And then eventually he's going to be sold on for a profit. All financially driven, guys. All financially driven. Very upsetting. And the fact that we're even saying this after a win is just quite sad, really. It's quite sad. You know, we should be talking about positive things. What are we looking forward to? Who are we enjoying? Who do you like to watch? What great business we've done. Fucking rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. Well, it's not. Well, you're not actually entirely wrong. I'll give you that. But it's not about having full control. It's about having a say in certain scenarios and putting your foot down, and the club understanding that. For example, I would just use last season as an example. Pochettino wanted to keep 2 players, Gallagher and Chalobah. And the club said no, and that's why he left. He didn't just get sacked. It was a mutual agreement. He was happy to go because he didn't want to work with these guys because they're a pain in the arse to work for. How can Poch spend 5-6 years at Tottenham and have no problems with Daniel Levy until right at the end? And he can't even last a year working with Paul Stewart and Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley. It's not a coincidence, is it? It's a difficult club to deal with. The bridge is very iconic. But is it in our best interest long term to stay in a stadium where we can't go over 60,000? All Maresca has to do is manage games properly. Simple. Forest don't have the best squad, but at least they're competing in the league so far. What's your opinion on Bowley's Vivid Seats controversy? I think it's a disgrace, Stephen. I think it's an absolute disgrace. And I'm more on the side of Bowley than Clearlake, because at least Bowley has a track record of being able to show success with teams, even if he makes money while doing it. Yeah, but this, I mean, none of it's good, is it? Would I rather have Bowley than Clearlake? Yes, I would. Does that mean I'm happy with what he's done? Absolutely not. I mean, at least he's not a fucking hedge fund. Clearlake is a hedge fund. It's not even their money. It's an investment pool, which is in the club so that it can grow and double in value to then be sold on for a profit. That's what they're doing. So yeah, that's my stance on Vivid Seats. I mean, big up to Johnny for finding it. I think it was a revelation when we found out, and obviously articles from the Telegraph, among others. They're all doing it, which is good, but still not really got enough traction to become a big story. But it's something worth talking about, isn't it? It's definitely something worth talking about. I don't understand how this is allowed. It's a complete conflict of interest. You're taking tickets from match-going fans. You're taking money at inflated prices. You can't justify those prices. £17,000 for a ticket at Liverpool. It's ridiculous. Nobody should pay that money, even for the best seats. It's criminal. It's criminal. It's not good. Our 40k stadium has put us in a disadvantage against all the top 6 clubs. This is why we have to flip-flop players to make profit for better players. It's called business. It's called stupid, mate. It's called fucking stupid. Right, fine. So it sounds to me like you want an NBA-style Premier League. That's what it sounds to me. You cannot justify the downfall of ambition, the standards dropping. You can't justify it. We should share. Oh God, no, please no. I don't want to share with Fulham. Oh mate, look, this is going to go to the CPO in the end. The CPO are going to speak about this, and we'll see. We'll see. I'm a CPO shareholder, so I will be voting on the matter if I can. And to be honest, based on the current situation, the way I'm feeling right now, I would vote to stay. Because unless the CPO have full control of the new location, that's the only reason that you would leave, if the CPO maintain control. You've got people that think the CPO is a bad thing. The CPO is a blessing in disguise. It gives us full control. As Chelsea fans, how many other football clubs can say the same thing? Very few, if any. Do you really think Nkunku can't become great at Chelsea? Do you believe Jackson's a better option for us in front of goal? Nkunku is a proven goal scorer and a much better finisher than Jackson. Again, I think it comes down to management. Nkunku would have thrived under Pochettino, just like Disasi, just like Ben Chilwell. Well, I wouldn't say thrive, but they're better suited to the way that manager wanted to play. And Maresca's just not a fan of him. So, yeah, he could have absolutely performed and been one of our best players. If it wasn't for his injury problems, he probably would have been. Because even when he come back in brief stints from injury against Wolves and Liverpool, he just needed more games and he would have got more goals. Top 5 might be Champions League football as well. That's a fair point. Yeah, that's true. It's not about operating on losses, mate. It's fine making money. Nobody's got a problem with making money. I don't think you're understanding what I've just spoken about. I'll share my screen one more time. This is the problem. That's the issue. And that's a small part of something bigger. All of the club's hotels have been sold to Blueco, or the owners. The club don't own anything. All of their assets have been stripped, which which looks smart, and you could say it is smart because it's helped us with PSR. But the money that's being made from those businesses is now being passed on to the owners directly instead of the club. That's not a healthy model. That is not a healthy model. Well, I hope we do get Champions League football. I really do. If we're linking to a lot of players in the transfer window, why didn't we go for someone? All we did was outgoings and waited 30 days to get someone. We could have done a midfield striker and a left back. Fair enough. £75 million player, mate. I would say they are established. This is the new January window. City spending won't work either. I hope you're right. When will we get a front shirt sponsorship? I have no idea, Stephen. The sooner the better. But I think we're holding out for Champions League football so we can get a deal with Jordan. That seems to be the plan at this moment in time. Right. Also, guys, I want to do a deep dive on a player that we have signed. Matisse Amugu. So it's important to understand who we've actually signed. I did say we were going to speak about this. We've spoken quite a lot about the ownership. It's good to understand who we've signed. Who is this player? Why did we sign this player? 19-year-old French footballer, £12 million. Let's have a look. Oh, for fuck's sake. Why is it not working? He hasn't got a profile on Transfer Market. Brilliant. He doesn't even have maintaining their values. Values. Come on, mate. You can't throw that word around like that. Values. Error. The request could not be satisfied. What? What the hell's going on here? Oh, the website's not working. Well, let me... Okay, let me try and get something up here. Oh, it's just not working today, guys. Okay, FB Ref. Does that have any stats? Okay, that's got something. That is... Big up to you, Nehemiah. I hope you're doing well. Smash the like button, guys. Can we get to 70 likes on the video? 70 likes. Each of you, if you haven't already smashed that thumbs up, please do. It does help. Okay. Now, usually I use Transfer Market, but unfortunately, that website is crashed for some reason. So he's 5'9". He's 19 years old. He's a French youth international. This season in Ligue 1, 17 matches played. I'll zoom in a little bit. 17 matches played, 859 minutes, 0 goals, 0 assists. Yeah, it's Not a lot to look at when you look at his stats. Scouting report. This is in the last 365 days against other midfielders. What midfielders are we talking about here? Yeah, I have to say it's not particularly impressive, is it? Let's be honest. He's got good interceptions. His interceptions seem to be quite good. Lots of tackles. So he's a defensive midfielder. He's quite nifty with his feet. If anyone's watched highlight videos of Amuga, he looks like a player who is similar to Lavia. That profile, yeah. Amuga is a less flashy Lavia. So he's a player who, if you're passing short from the back, he's going to be able to hopefully break the press, dribble, get it past the player. What other players have we had similar to Lavia? Like a Kovacic, that style, probably along that line. But he's not a goal scorer. He's not a creative player either. He's a player that's well suited to the system based on what we're looking at. What's his injury record? That's a good question. Let's find that out for you. Injury record. Oh my God, it doesn't work. The best website for this is not actually working today. Okay. More matches. Okay. All right. I've got some stats for you guys. This is better. We can go back a long way here. This is what I want to see. All right. You guys can all see what I'm seeing, yeah? So this is 2022, so we're going back a fair amount of time. But what we are looking for here is very clear. We're looking at how many minutes he's playing. 90. Yeah. Is he consistently playing matches? League. Oh, they were in the second division. I didn't even know that. He wasn't in the squad for a while. And then he broke into the squad. That's the French under-19s. He still wasn't in the Saint Etienne squad in 2024. This is just under a year ago. Not in the squad at all. Still not in the squad. So he was featuring for the French under-19s, but nothing for Saint Etienne. We're halfway through 2024, and he wasn't even in the squad. He's still not in the squad. Okay. So his first match in the first team of Saint Etienne, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Okay, that would have been pre-season then. So he played 90 minutes in pre-season. He played 13, and then they went into Liga, and all right, he's starting quite a few games, and you can see his match rating as well. Now it's not always important because of the position that he plays in, but it's good to know. 90 minutes, 85 minutes, 90 minutes. What's that? Is that a goal? Oh, that's for France. He's starting most of these games. Come off the bench. 90 minutes. He's not playing. I mean, he is playing, but he's not playing that much. How the fuck have we spent? What is the point? It's just... Oh, fucking hell. Oh, God. Oh. Who the fuck is this guy? Why are you signing him? What's he done? Done nothing. He's done nothing. He's not even played a full season. He played half a season. He was never in the squad. He broke in. He played. He played in pre-season a little bit. How many games is he involved in Ligue 1? Not many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was off the bench. 4 minutes against Lyon. So that 12. And that's not Lyon. That's 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 games, mate. 17 games. And not all of those are starts. A lot of those games was coming off the bench. 17 games. That is the president's assigned players. Yeah, no, you're right. He will be loaned out to Strasbourg. It's just like, it's a bit of a slap in the face when you have short-term problems and you're not addressing them. You're not addressing these short-term problems. Well, thanks for that, Matt. I appreciate you now understanding I'm not a brown envelope. Appreciate that. Jordan, what is the point of signing him if he's only played a couple of games than to be on the bench? We wanted a lot of money on this player. It's a disgrace. What are Chelsea doing? It is a disgrace. It's not good, is it? Honestly, guys, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is what I'll say. Can we get 60 likes, guys? Can we get up to 60 likes? Smash the like button if you haven't already. This has not been... It has been an enjoyable stream. Of course it has. I've enjoyed it. But the context of what I'm speaking about is not enjoyable because it's very... It's just pathetic. It's pathetic. You know, what I'm seeing is not... How does this give you any hope as a fan to push us on to the next level? Another pure profit player. I mean, I'm positive, generally speaking, but I'm just you know, I'll always back the team and I'll back the manager, and I really hope we can do it. I think we can get top 5. I always said from the beginning of the season I thought we'd finish 5th, which still gives you Champions League football depending on how other teams perform. And based on how Liverpool are performing this season, you wouldn't be surprised if they won the Champions League. And we might need that luck. Why aren't we using our academy or waiting for offers from them? I don't know. Dark Knight says, my dream was Garnacho and Tell. We did actually sweep him from at the end, but he already agreed Tottenham by that point, I think. That's what. Was that Fabrizio who said that? Somebody said that. Sick of the words pure profit at this point. I think they do need to change the rules for PSR. They need to change the rules. They need to make it so that young academy players have a chance to actually stay at the club without being used as a business asset just to bring in cash. If pure profit was taken out of the equation, I think it would make football a more enjoyable space, not having to think about, oh, we've just brought this player up, he's going to get sold. Fantastic. You know, I do think those rules need to be addressed. You'll never have any homegrown players because they're just going to get sold when the club need money. And it's not just Chelsea, it's every single club. Doesn't sound like you're back in the team. These kids wanted to join us. It's not their fault. Our directors are playing like this. I never said it was their fault. I mean, you probably haven't watched me much on this channel. I'm probably the most patient fan out there. You know, I've followed us under. I went home and away in Potter's first season. I was there every single week last season. I was still back in the team. I don't just blindly follow. I mean, I do follow the team. That's fine, but I don't accept that this is a good strategy. I don't accept that. I do not accept that. It's a shit strategy. It's a shit strategy. If you combine this strategy with addressing the short-term issues as well, then I don't have a problem with it. You are not combining. You are just doing one thing and not the other. There's so much more going on that needs to be addressed. There's many more issues surrounding the club that deserve attention as opposed to a 19-year-old who's only played 17 games for St. Etienne. Hasn't even started every one of those games. That's me being generous. He had 4 minutes against Lyon. I've counted that. We could have recalled Santos. He's having a brilliant season. That would have been an option as well. We don't need Garnacho. I'd rather see the money spent on a striker of Gorka's and Osimhen levels. We don't have enough on the wings. That's fair. I can appreciate that. Annoyingly, I just think the owners don't really care about the fan base. Yes, but who did those academy players have beside them? Who did they have beside them? That's a great point. And I'll wrap up on that point. They had a lot of top players beside them. Yeah, a lot. 2021. Okay, you're looking at academy players then, yeah? Academy players. Andreas Christiansen, Reece James, Timo Livramento, Billy Gilmore, Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Some good youth players in there. Who were they playing with? Who was in there? At the time, we had Edward Mendy, who was probably the best goalkeeper in the world that year, if I'm totally honest. I think he won the award for it as well. You had Azpilicueta, Who else do you have? Marcus Alonso won Premier Leagues. Azpilicueta won multiple Premier Leagues. Rudiger, one of the best centre-backs in the world at the moment. Thiago Silva, one of the best centre-backs of all time. In the midfield, you had Jorginho, Kante and Kovacic, the best midfield trio in the Premier League at the time, if we're being totally honest, especially defensively. You had great depth up front in terms of being able to score goals. You had Giroud, who was fantastic whenever he was given the minutes. Batshuayi, impact sub, not a bad impact sub at all. He always used to seem to come off the bench and make an impact. You had Pulisic, you had Werner, you had Ziyech, all high-profile signings at the time. Kai Havertz as well was a high-profile signing. And you had the best manager in the world as well with Thomas Tuchel. So we talk about academy players. Who were they playing with? They were playing with top players. So there you go. Listen, guys, I have no idea how many likes we're on. In fact, I'm going to check on my phone. Why not? Have we got up to 60 likes? We're on 46. Can we get up to 60 likes? Give me 15 more likes, and I'm going to wrap it up anyway. Big up to everyone that's watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. It was the worst window in Chelsea's history. It was a disgrace. Nothing else to say than that, really. We move, of course we move. We just say how we see it. And I try and be level-headed. I try and look at it from all sides. And this was a poor window, a very poor window. And we got to know as well a player coming into the squad with Matisse Amagu. So it will be interesting to see if also his market value. You see his market value. His market value is 4.7 million euros. And we paid 12. We paid 12. Brilliant business. Brilliant. His market value is 4 million euros. Fantastic. Big up to you as well, Ben. Good to see you, mate. And thanks everyone for watching. Appreciate your time. There will be a stream at 8 o'clock with Charlie. It will be running through some more news. So tune in for that one. Just think to yourself, every day we're basically going to be doing these streams. It's a 1 o'clock lunchtime stream and an 8 o'clock evening stream. And we'll do that every day, except match days and the day after when it's a little bit difficult. But generally speaking, that's what we're going to do. All the best, guys, and we will catch up very, very soon.